Hey, Jamie, thanks for taking some time to talk with me about the recent launch of your book here. And I just have a screen share that I was showing right here with you being actually released in your press release going out on some of the major news networks. And so I just wanted to take a second just to kind of come in and talk to you and ask you about, what got you into the book, why you wrote the book. But kind of before we do that, why not, there's always a story behind the story. So why don't we start off with, a little bit of background. How did you get here? And I think there's a big kind of turning point, or some people call it getting the rug yanked out from underneath them. So tell me about that. Tell me what happened, and let's go from there.
Sure, Steve. Glad to be with you. My background is in the housing industry. Grew up in a family-owned business that manufactured building components for the housing industry, and started working for the company at a very young age, loading trucks, and all through high school and college, just learning the business with every intention of coming back and taking over the business at some point. So then back in the late 80s, my father's health began to decline and other things were going on. The decision was made by the family to sell the business, which we did in January of 1990. I was about 25 years old. So I was kind of lost, not knowing what the heck I was going to do the rest of my life. So entered into business school, came out, got a job, and the new owners fell on hard times in the mid-90s. Ended up filing for Chapter 11 reorganization. I believe it was in 96. And I saw that as an opportunity to buy my family business back, which I did out of bankruptcy. Did quite well with it for about 10 years or so until the mortgage crisis hit in 2008. We were just too highly leveraged at that point to weather that storm, and had to close the business in January of 2008.
Okay. So everything got turned upside down. You went from successful business owner. You had, if I remember correctly, close to 100 employees, and you had to pink slip all of them. I mean, what did something like that feel like?
Well, and it must be said that when I got back to the business after taking it out of bankruptcy, the business was in far worse condition than I thought, and I ended up having to put everything I had into it, financially, money-wise, to retool it and get it back on its feet. So, when I hit the wall in 2008, and I had to file corporate bankruptcy, personal bankruptcy, I lost everything. So it was a horrible time of my life, and there's no way really to describe how I felt. I mean, I know I wasn't alone in that whole mortgage collapse, but it was a tough time.
Yeah, I think that was, a tsunami that kind of hit the entire world. I mean, I think all the markets got hit, and a lot of people got taken out that shouldn't have, didn't deserve to. And, so you take a situation where you had a horrible setback, you had turned a company business around, brought it back up, employing tons of people and doing well because of your hard work. And then next thing, rug gets yanked out from underneath you. Now what? So what happened at that point?
Well, after an extended pity party that I had, and feeling sorry for myself, and I felt it was, as you said, rug pulled out, and I felt a sense of unfairness of what happened, and so many things beyond my control, and so forth. But at some point in life, you got to just say it is what it is, and pull yourself up, brush yourself off, and move forward. So that's what I did.
Okay. So, you're an educated guy. You've, if I remember correctly, you've got an MBA, you've got plenty of horsepower between your ears. So you got an extra edge. You could have gone anywhere after this setback. And like you said, you kind of had to get past the bruising stage of, I didn't deserve this, a little bit of the self-pity. And then you got to pull yourself up by the bootstraps. And you chose to go into the insurance industry. Tell me why.
Well, for me, having money and losing it was worse than never having it at all. So my first priority, I needed to make, I lost multiple seven figures. The whole thing. I need to make a lot of money. That's what I needed to do. And going on someone's payroll was not an option. So I needed to find a business.
Right.
And so, I had several friends growing up that worked for State Farm and Allstate, Nationwide, and those guys. And and they all had one thing in common. None of them were broke. They all lived in nice houses, drove nice cars, and a couple of them had a helicopter and an airplane. So I reached out to a couple of them to explore, going in that direction. But I wanted to find out that, my ship had sailed in that business model. And I was in my mid-40s at the time, and I should have started when they did, when 20 years old. So I just dismissed that idea and did a lot of research and kissed a lot of frogs, and finally came upon this business model. And in 2011, and haven't looked back since.
Excellent. Okay, so you go into this industry, you're able to help a lot of people, and you're able to invest your expertise. So then, in the middle of all this, working as hard as you've worked to come back from what I would call, past the point of no return, and now you're back in the game. You're doing great things. You're making a good impact on other people's lives, and I got to show the book if you don't mind. Let me share a screen here for a second because I got to show the book. Let's see. Here we go. How about that? There now you decide in the middle of all your hard work. Here's your book, Success Unlimited. So tell me a little bit about what your story is, what you decided to write in the book, and then I got to ask you about the actual coastline and what the significance of that is.
Okay. Well, I have to go back and say this about the insurance industry, which I didn't really understand at the time. I was just, as I said, I need to make a lot of money fast. But one thing the insurance industry has afforded me the opportunity to do is help a lot of people. But two groups of people, one, clients, world-class products, but also other people that either were, broke on time, broke on money, sitting in a cubicle somewhere, miserable at some job they hate. And, it's given me an opportunity to share my story, share my background, share what happened to me. And in doing so, I learned, I noticed that people resonate with my story. I mean, everybody remembers 08 and what happened. And a lot of people got hurt. I wasn't the only one, obviously. So, a lot of people resonated with my story. So it's pleasing to me to get it out there in a much bigger way.
I got it. So now the coastline in the middle of that tsunami that kind of decimated not only industries but people's lives, a lot of people found themselves. I don't know if you want to call it a man without a country or just totally lost at sea. So how did this coastline, how did this significance come into your book?
The cover of that book, Steve, accurately depicts how I felt in January of 2008. Lost at sea, no land to be found or seen anywhere. And I just kept fighting and before I found land and I wrote this book again to share my story to a much broader audience. And if I can inspire at least one person, then it will all be worth it.
Yeah. So your point is, when you're lost at sea and you don't think you're ever going to find a coastline, if you just keep going, eventually this is what you found. And that was the undiscovered territory.
That's right. I mean, you get knocked down sometimes, you get up 8 and tough times never last. Tough people do things. It's just kind of, the whole story I'm just trying to get it out there at a much broader audience.
Right. So one of the things I think that I'm most proud to actually show off here is that your book now, when you actually launched your book just recently, this is the number of major news channels, mostly here in North America. I see ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, and I see a lot of newspapers. I see financial channels. I see several hundred. I think there's over 300 different news outlets that have actually carried. There's some stock companies right there that have actually carried your story and everything. So what does it feel like now that not only have you been published, that you can actually put your story out there? You've got the whole coastline idea about keeping going even when you don't feel like you can go further, and now you've been picked up by all of these different news stories that want to tell people about your story. What does that feel like?
It feels amazing. I've just I'm full of gratitude. I've got this pay it forward, mindset.
Right.
again, as I said, if I can just inspire one person, it'd be all worthwhile.
There you go. That's great. So now, someone that has, want to find out more about your story, look at the book, maybe kick the tires on it before they buy it or whatever, they can actually go to a website, right? And there's a free PDF of like the first chapter, something like that. What's that website?
Success Unlimited by JamieLester.com. As you said, they can download a free PDF of the chapter, and all they have to do is put the information, their information there, will be emailed to them, right away.
Right away. Okay, cool. So it's Success Unlimited by JamieLester.com. That's it?
Right.
Okay.
That's it.
All right, good. All right. Well, I just, I appreciate you getting to know you in the process and getting to understand who you are, what you're about. And that's what we enjoy doing, here in my position, is getting an opportunity to find out that there are other people out there in the world, that it's not just about them, it's about helping other people. And if you help other people get what they want first, they don't have a problem helping you a little bit on the back end. So that's pretty cool.
That's right. That is cool.
Yeah. So listen, I appreciate your time. Thank you again for sharing a few minutes. I know this is the holiday. It's hard to get everything in here, but I appreciate it. And if there's anything else we can do, I want to come back and check in with you down the road and see how things are going, and how this new, what I would call celebrity status as an authority, as an author that you have now, and how that is able to help you help other people.
Thank you, Steve. Happy New Year.
Take care, buddy. All right, bye.